So Cycleau is a compact water recycling system that can be retrofitted into buildings below sinks and showers to recycle gray water to drinking water. And in doing so, it provides point-of-use water treatment to mitigate challenges of water contamination and water scarcity, while at the same time recycling gray water on site to reduce the impacts of wastewater pollution and the rising costs of water worldwide. And this solution was originally inspired by challenges that I saw in my own home community regarding tap water contamination and wastewater pollution, and how I began thinking about how can individuals and households take command of aging water infrastructure and these more regional challenges around them by implementing a consumer-level building scale technology that could allow individuals to treat and recycle their own water. So it was almost 2 years ago that the UNICEF Office of Innovation launched the first of its kind program called Innovation30, where they aim to identify entrepreneurs working on climate issues who are under the age of 30 worldwide. And in doing so, they engaged a number of their partners seeking nominations of such entrepreneurs to invite to apply to the program. So prior to engaging with the UNICEF Office of Innovation, our project had been funded and sponsored by MIT Solve, and MIT Solve later that year in 2023 nominated us to be a part of UNICEF Office of Innovation's Innovation30 program. So following the application to Innovation30, we engaged in a couple of their different events, including at COP28, and I know that they exhibited our solutions at other conferences around the world. But it was about 6 months after joining the Innovation30 program that I was then connected with the UNICEF Tajikistan country office to participate in the Dushanbe Water Action Decade Conference, which took place about a year ago. And it was where we first presented this solution and began the discussions around doing a pilot in Tajikistan with UNICEF. Yeah, so it was about a year ago that in Tajikistan, UNICEF, among other partners, were hosting the Dushanbe Water Action Decade Conference. And in doing so, they were searching for water solutions and innovations that they could include at the conference. And through their partnership with the Office of Innovation, they heard about Cycleau and invited me to come and present at the conference, at which point we began discussions of doing a pilot program in Tajikistan where we would deploy units of Cycleau in rural health centers and schools. And in the process, it has demonstrated how in a large multilateral institution like UNICEF, the real action happens at the country level. It happens with these local teams made up of people who were born and raised in the countries that they're serving and who have an acute understanding of the problems that that country is facing, where they can identify and actually absorb these innovations and use them in these local facilities. So the opportunity to work with the UNICEF Tajikistan country office has been incredibly unique and also an eye-opening experience as far as how to engage with large multilateral institutions like UNICEF. I think one of the qualities that sets Cycleau apart from other climate innovations around the world is its retrofitted design, where it can actually be retrofitted and installed in aging buildings and actually reciprocate the plumbing and the infrastructure that's already found in those buildings. And that dramatically improves its accessibility, because now you don't need to construct new developments or install new infrastructure to be able to implement climate-sensitive and water-conservative technologies like Cycleau. I think the most unique aspect to working with UNICEF as a young innovator is the opportunity to go to countries like Tajikistan, as well as Azerbaijan for COP29 to present this solution. These are countries that I never could have imagined I would have the opportunity to go to. And so to have the opportunity to take the innovation there and even explore opportunities of installing it and regenerating some of the ecological and economic sustainability in these countries has been such an incredibly unique and empowering experience that I think few institutions could offer a young innovator or even any company the opportunity outside of a global agency like UNICEF. I think one of the pieces of advice that I would give young innovators is that you don't need very much to get started. Sometimes people have the perception that to start a company or to develop a product, you need hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars in funding, and you need a team and you need backers. But in reality, all you really need is an idea and some early prototyping materials that you can really buy locally to just start testing your technology. The first prototypes of Cycleau, which were built 5 years ago, were made out of plastic containers that were holding like muffins and pastries from the grocery store. That was the first prototype of Cycleau. They cost 90 cents, and it was just a way of testing this concept, right? Testing this assembly. And once you show that you have the capacity and the initiative to just build those early prototypes out of household materials, that's when a lot of these opportunities and different grants and funding will find you, because you're already setting yourself apart as somebody who is willing to build and to test. And the opportunities to scale those efforts and develop more professional looking products like this will come if you just get started with what's around you. So the goal of Cycleau and deploying Cycleau is really to scale this solution wherever challenges of water contamination or water scarcity are present. And because it's a retrofitted technology, that really includes nearly the entire household and urban development markets in countries around the world. So working with an institution like UNICEF and already beginning to pilot this technology in facilities in Tajikistan with the UNICEF country office, the goal from here would be to leverage the results of this pilot program to not only expand this deployment within Tajikistan in other facilities, but to also engage other UNICEF country offices, both in Central Asia as well as in other regions of the world, to explore how this solution could further be distributed in other areas.